Hello everybody, welcome to my channel, Simply Mama Cooks. I'm Angelica. So today I have a thawed pork roast or a chunk of like pork meat, and I didn't know what to do with it. So I decided I'm gonna slow cook it in the crock pot. I'm going to add some flavorful ingredients to create a delicious broth, shred the meat, chop it up, and make tacos. It's gonna be good. Okay, so today I'm going to cook my pork roast, or this is like pork shoulder roast. It's just a big chunk of pork that I had in my freezer. I'm going to slow cook it in my crock pot with some aromatics. Here I'm going to be using 1 jalapeño, 2 cloves of garlic, 2 small Roma tomatoes. I'm going to toss a bay leaf in there, 1 guajillo dried chile that I've already cleaned and removed the stem. This is a combination of black peppercorns and whole cumin seeds that I just ground up. I love this. You could just use ground cumin and some black pepper in the mix. And here I've created my own chicken broth with 1 tablespoon of chicken bouillon powder and 2 cups of hot water. So now let's get it into the crock pot. So I'm going to take my pork meat carefully and place it right into my crock pot. Okay, so I'm going to season this with like a teaspoon of salt. Just on top like that. All of this is going in. My tomato, my chilies, my garlic, my bay leaf, and this is about a teaspoon of the ground cumin black peppercorn mix. Gonna move that. I'm actually going to give my broth a mix since I pre-mixed it from the chicken bouillon powder. And that's gonna go. Oops, don't make a mess. All right, so let's put that in there. I also have this small whole onion that I'm gonna add into the pot. And I'll just put it right in there. Lid on. I'm gonna set this to high, and I'm gonna cook this for around 5 to 6 hours or until it's tender. Okay, so this has been like 6.5 hours. I think maybe because I didn't cut it, it just took longer on high. I don't know. Maybe it was a little too cold. Let's see what we're working with here. So, oh yes, this is when I poke it with the fork. See how it just kind of falls apart? So this took like 6.5 hours. So what I want to do is I'm going to puree all the ingredients, well, with the exception of the bay leaf, but I'm gonna put my tomato, garlic, anything I can salvage that didn't, you know, kind of dissolve and break apart, pretty much stay together. The jalapeño is gonna go in there and just put it on a plate. I don't want to disturb, oh gosh, I'm gonna have to eat that shredded tender morsel there. So here's what I'm looking at. I'm going to create a salsa with that and pour it back into the broth, but I'm going to remove the meat and I'm going to skim off most of that fat. I'm going to pour this into my blender cup. Let's do that. Trying to make a mess. Hopefully I don't mess this up one-handed here. There we go. Okay, so here I have some water, and I'm just going to, thanks honey, I'm going to add just a little bit of water to get things moving along because it did thicken, and that should be done. Okay, I'm gonna pour out the liquid here into my little fat separating. There we go. Perfect. My cat is mad because he wants to be here. Okay, so I'm gonna let that settle, but you'll see the fat floats to the top and all the juices is at the bottom. So when I go to pour it, it's coming from the bottom, so the fat gets left behind. So I'm gonna pour it back into the pot. Let's see, can you guys see that? There we go. Okay. So as it goes down, as I'm pouring it, you see how all the juice is coming out and the fat just stays behind. There we go. There we go. Okay, so there we have it. And I'm going to take some of the meat because I do want this to be in the broth. Look at this, it's just falling apart. I'm gonna take some of that meat and it's kind of gonna be like I said, the Consomé. Same idea as the birria, where you just kind of shred. You can chop the meat. I'm gonna get 2 forks and I'm gonna have my husband shred this into the pot. But yeah, it's falling apart. Let's take this over to my pot of shredded goodies. Gosh, you guys, it's getting late, but this is so good. So I'm pouring it right into my broth. Okay, so I actually added a little more than a cup of water. So this is going to be, and I put this back on high. Okay, so I'm gonna stir this really quick. So yeah, I'm gonna put this back on high. I'm gonna taste this for salt, seasoning. You season how you like, and that's gonna be like the brothy soup that I dunk the tacos in. So good. So let's cover that up. That's gonna come back up to a simmer by the time I need it. Okay, so now I'm going to chop my meat. I'm just gonna use my hands. It's hot, and whatever juices are left here on this plate, it's going back into the crock pot. So this is so tender, it's falling apart. It's not gonna be that hard to chop it up. And this is what I'm going to make the tacos with. Or they're more like quesadillas. Like I said, flautas, tacos, tostadas, whatever it is you wanna make with this. I was just finding a way to use this meat. Okay, so there we are, shredded meat. Here I have my cast iron griddle preheating on a low heat. I don't want this on high because things will kind of burn. So I'm gonna add some of that rendered, fat. There we go. Okay, so that was so I added some of that rendered fat. Now I'm gonna add my cheese and some of the meat, maybe a little more cheese. And this is going to cook, melt, get crispy, and all that good stuff. Just like that. Okay, making a mess. So yeah, this is how I'm gonna make the tacos today, to dunk into that broth. It's gonna be good. Let's get things ready here. So yeah, I preheated it, and you want to make sure you keep it on a low heat. I don't need any more of that. Because, you know, you want things to get melty and gooey before things burn and sort of cook out of control there. So there's that. Some cheese. I'm actually going to see if I can fold it over this way. Yeah, there we go. And just kind of mash it down. And I'm gonna just gently cook these. It's gonna take a little while to get crispy and melty and all that stuff, because like I said, I'm cooking this on a lower heat setting. So we got my shredded chopped pork. I'm using Oaxaca cheese today. This is a good melting cheese. Mozzarella works as well. And I'm just using my store-bought yellow corn tortillas for this. Okay, so this I think I can flip carefully. Oh, yay. And then the cheese crust is just, wow. This one's going to be good, I know it. Okay, so we're going to let the other side get nice and crispy. I'm going to bring it over, and here is the delicious broth, the Consomé, simmering. I checked it for salt and seasoning. You'll want to do the same when you're making this. So what I'm going to do is just add some of this broth into my bowl. It's going to be perfect for dunking. Oh, so good. There we go. Now, I didn't dice any onion, but for sure you want to dice up some onion, radish. I'm adding some fresh squeezed lime to this. Okay, thumbnail ready, I hope. Going in for a bite. This is so good. The broth, the cheesy taco, ridiculous. Okay, so that was ridiculously good. So I was gassed out earlier and I thought, oh, I'll just make this for tomorrow. I'm glad I gave it a try. It's so good. So that's just another way you can make pork roast in the crock pot. So anyways, I hope you give this recipe a try. I hope you like it. And thanks for watching. Bye.